express yourself. You just can't go wrong now. Express yourself. They need to know it. Express yourselves. It's never wrong if you can do it all the time. Soccer brings the world in motion, and Canada's a co host now. Soccer's got the world in motion. US and Mexico host too. Express yourself. It's one on one. Express yourself. 48 nations all. Express yourself. You can't go wrong, 'cause this might be the best World Cup ever. Soccer's got the world in motion. That I know, it has to be true. Soccer is big sport and some stories. Hey there, Heather Ho there, Chef Cutter Diamond, walking you to the prognostication part of the Cutter World Cup stories. Don't forget that all the World Cup stories I talked about the three co-hosts and their FIFA thing, first impressions of the group. I took 3 videos talking about the World Cups of the past. I talked about Scotland, and I talked about England, and there was something else, but I can't remember. But nevertheless, this is the pronunciations version. So, as you can see, there's the groups from A to L and all that. It's not in the order in which I think it'll happen, but anyway, I'm going to give you my predictions for who will be in the World Cup and all that. I will even give the 8 groups that have that will see a team in this set in round 32 as best third place teams. All right. So Group A is dominated by Mexico. Mexico. Yeah, I'm battling a voice problem. You can tell. But yeah, Mexico is prone to win the group. I'm going to go with the Czechs to sneak into the 2 slot with Korea and South Africa following. And Korea will get one of those third place spots. I think Korea's got some good talent and all that, but Czechia always seems to be tricky. And Mexico, I think, can't botch this group. Group B is Canada's group. Our group was Switzerland, Bosnia, and Qatar. Could have been worse for Canada. We could have had Italy, and Canada would have been fighting for third place. I think in the end, Switzerland will sneak in and win the group. Their neutrality has been pretty good. Even though we've had a few injuries, I mean, I think we can still tie Bosnia, beat Qatar, lose to Switzerland, get 4 points, somehow sneak into second place over Bosnia. I don't think Qatar could beat Bosnia. But I think Bosnia at the end will probably fall flat and maybe not get a chance to get to the group stages. Who knows? We'll see what they're all about. But I think Canada will sneak into second place because they have to. Group C is the Brazil group with Morocco, Scotland, and Haiti. This is definitely Brazil's group. They have the new guy, Vinicius, and, a couple of players coming after Neymar. So Brazil doing all they can. I think Morocco will sneak into second place in this group. After all, they did take semifinals in 2022, which was shocking. And Scotland, yes, Scotland will make it in as one of the third place teams. They have to. Somehow, in some way, I think Scotland will get enough momentum to sneak in and get there. Group D is America's group. They have to win this group. I think they would give drafted the best of the groups of the 3 co-hosts. I think, for my money, I think Turkey might shock Australia and get second place. Paraguay will take 4th. But yeah, Turkey, I think, can shock Australia. Maybe by goal differential or something. Leaving the Aussies one of those third place spots. Group B is going to be big, but Germany's going to win. I think Cote d'Ivoire or the Ivory Coast, whatever you want to call it, will take second. Ecuador will take third and sneak in for one of those third place spots. Carousel, I don't think can beat Ecuador, and that's what's probably going to be the big story. Group F is the Dutch's group to lose, but I think the Dutch can pull this one off. I think Japan will somehow sneak into second over Sweden. Not just by beating them, but like maybe on goal differential or whatever tiebreaker. Sweden will get third. Tunisia we're happy to get here. Group G sees Belgium looking like this is their group. And of course, Belgium's always known for underachieving or overachieving, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be a tough task for second place, to be honest with you. But I'm going to go with Iran. Somehow, in some way, Iran will somehow get second place and stick it to the U.S. tournament. Egypt will take third, keep fourth, but both teams will be falling flat. And each, you got Spain and Uruguay battling each other. I think Spain will beat Uruguay for the group. Saudi Arabia will beat Cape Verde for third place. And Saudi Arabia will somehow sneak into third place. And one of those third placers. Then comes Group I, and that's France's group with Senegal, Norway, and Iraq. France has to know not to do the same crap in 2026 as they did in 2002, losing 1-0 to Senegal. But I think it'll be France, Senegal. Irving Haaland is decent, but one player can't make a whole squad sometimes. And Haaland and his group will take third, Iraq, and Norway will sneak into one of those third place spots. Group J, you have Argentina's group, the all A's, if you will, Argentina, Austria, and Algeria, and Jordan as well. But I think Argentina will win the group. Austria will sneak in over Algeria for second. So I have a funny feeling Austria will pull off a couple of upsets, and then Algeria will end up taking their place, but they will qualify. Group K is Portugal's group to lose, unless like Colombia, but I think Portugal will beat Colombia at the end, and Uzbekistan will win that key third place over DR Congo, aka Zaire. And I think Uzbekistan will come close, but they'll fall flat for a spot. And Group L is kind of the group of death: England, Croatia, Ghana, and Panama. I think that England, Croatia will be safely through somehow, and I think that Ghana and Panama will fight for third, but they'll probably fall flat. So yeah, that's what I got. So to summarize, the 32 nations that would qualify for me: Mexico, Czechia, Korea, Switzerland, Canada, Brazil, Morocco, Scotland, US, Turkey, Australia, Germany, Ivory Coast, Ecuador, excuse me, Holland, Japan, Sweden, Brazil, Iran, Spain, Uruguay, Saudi Arabia, France, Senegal, Norway, Argentina, Austria, Algeria, Portugal, Colombia, England, and Croatia. So, where are these guys going to end up? I'll tell you. Alright, so this is what the round of 32 is going to look like here. So, the winner of Group E takes on a third place team, and the winner of Group B is Germany. One of the third place teams I'm predicting is Korea. I think that Korea might give Germany some hope, but I think Germany will win. The winner of Group I, which is France, will take on one of the third place teams. I'm predicting Saudi Arabia. For some reason, I think the Arabians might take on France, but France will easily win. The runners up in Groups A and B will face each other, and that's Canada and Czechia. For my money, I'm going to go with Canada to somehow beat the Czechs and get to the round of 16. I feel like FIFA in some way is going to reward us and all that. The winner of Group F takes on the runner-up in Group C. That is going to be Holland versus Morocco, and it'll be close. I think Morocco has a shot, but I think the Dutch will sneak in at the buzzer to beat Morocco. Runners-up in Groups K and L will meet each other. That's Colombia, Croatia, as I predict. And I think that it's going to be close, but I think Croatia's got some kind of spiritual move, and I think Croatia will get to the round of 16. The winner of Group H takes on the runner-up in Group J. That's Spain versus Austria. Austria will be close, but I think Spain will win. The winner of Group D, which will be the American group, they take on a third-place team. I'm predicting Algeria, and the Americans will somehow beat Algeria. I just have a funny feeling that FIFA will give the U.S. some help. And then you got yourself the winner of Group G, which is Belgium, taking on a third-place team, and I predict it'll be Norway. And I think it'll be close, but I think Belgium will somehow sneak over Norway. Because Norway's got to learn, they're not just Erling Haaland. And then the other part of the round of 32, the winner of Group C takes on runner-up in Group F. That will be Brazil versus Japan. I predict that it's going to be Brazil to take down Japan. The runners-up in Groups E and I will meet each other. That's Ivory Coast, Senegal, as I'm predicting. And I'm saying Senegal will somehow sneak in. It'll be a tight one. I think this is the most 50-50 matchup, Ivory Coast, Senegal. But I think it's Senegal. The winners of Group A will take on a third place team, and that's Mexico. Winner Group A will take on Scotland. I'm calling it Scotland versus Mexico, and somehow, in some way, Scotland will beat Mexico. So not only will Scotland make a stage game, they'll win. I'm sure. The winner of Group L, which is England, will take on a third place team, and I'm predicting Ecuador, and I think England can take down Ecuador. The winner in Group J takes on the runner-up in Group H, and that will be Argentina Uruguay. That's also going to be a 50-50 match, but I think Argentina will sneak in at the buzzer. The runners-up in Group D and G will face each other, and that's Turkey versus Iran. And I think Turkey will pull off an upset over Iran. I mean, I think they'll be a surprise team to get to round 16, but I think Turkey can do it. The winners in Group B take on a third-place team, and that's Switzerland over Sweden. I think that, in the end, Switzerland's neutrality might beat Sweden. And the winner of Group K, which is Portugal, will take on a third-place team, and the last third-place team is Australia, and I think Portugal will beat Australia. So that is the round of 32 for you. And then you got yourself the round of 16, and the first game in the round of 16 would be Germany versus France. And in the end, I think the French will beat the Germans because I think Germany might try as they might have it, but France has gotten momentum the past two World Cups, being winners in 2018 and runners-up in 2022. I think that's their momentum. The next match would see Canada versus Holland. As much as I hate to say it, I think the Dutch will beat Canada. I think Canada will be doomed. But I mean, you got to the round 16. The next match is Brazil versus Senegal. Senegal will make a decent showing, but I think Brazil will take care of them quite easily. Match 92 is Scotland versus England. The way it's drawn up would see Scotland versus England, of course, would. And, England would win. And as John Motson would say, the scenes are so typically Scottish. The next match is Croatia versus Spain. I think Croatia might make a move, but I think Spain's got power and glory and all that. Match 94 is US versus Belgium. I think the Belgians will beat the Americans somehow in some way. It'll be close, but I think the Belgians will win. Argentina, Turkey. Well, Turkey, good showing, but I think Argentina's got with Messi. And then you got Switzerland, Portugal. But I think it's got to be Portugal. It's got to be Portugal. Switzerland's neutrality will only help them for so long, and then Portugal will help themselves and get to the quarterfinals. And then you got yourself the quarters, semis, and finals, and all that. So, first quarterfinal will see France versus Holland, and I can't see the Dutch beating the French. I mean, the French have the momentum of the last two World Cups. Mbappe is doing great. They have a good midfield. I think France will beat Holland. Second quarterfinal sees Spain versus Belgium. I think Belgium will overachieve as per usual. Spain's got a great young talent, Yamal, who did well at Euro. I think he'll be good. And then you got Brazil, England. Well, England making the semifinals is not going to be easy. I don't think they have a chance to make the semifinals in any scenario. I think Brazil will beat England easily. Fourth quarterfinal will be Argentina, Portugal. Somehow, in some way, it's set up to have Messi versus CR7. It should have happened in 2018, but it didn't. But in 2026, it will happen. And I think that Argentina will somehow win over Portugal. That sets up a battle of South American teams and battle of Europe teams. I think Spain will somehow shock France, and I think Argentina has enough to beat herself. So a Spain-Argentina final, Basque final, if you will, and Spain will come out on top. I know EA Sports also said that, Spain's going to win, and they did predict the last 4 World Cups correctly. So, Spain's a great young team. I'm like, what the heck? I'll go Spain. And France will take third place from Brazil. That's just how I predict. I'm probably going to be wrong with a lot of these predictions. After all, I mean, the third place teams and all that could make noise. Things could change and all that. Yeah, that's just how everything is set up and all that. So anyway, that's that. Now for my final thoughts. Most notably, in my final thoughts, I say this. This is only the second World Cup that will have multiple co-hosts. Of course, Korea, Japan, two is the other one. But in essence, this is going to be one heck of a tournament. There's a lot of storylines. Of course, one of the major storylines is how will the co-hosts do? Mexico, US, and Canada. I think they all got good groups to sneak themselves into the round two at the very least. And all that. And Canada got lucky with Bosnia beat Italy for that last spot because, quite frankly, I think Canada would have been host. I think they probably would have taken third place, but Canada kind of has no excuse not to be top two. I know Canada's been hit with injuries and all that, and other countries have gone through injury problems and people like second guessing their team sheets. Another good, yeah, it says how good will the co-host go? Another factor is Scotland. I mean, Scotland's been to 8 World Cups: 1954, 1974, 78, 82, 86, 90, and 98. And I'm missing one, am I not? 58, sorry. Yeah. Okay, so it was 54, 58, 74, 78, 82, 86, 90, 98. They've never been to a knockout game. Scotland got bit by Switzerland's hot weather in 1954, a bad group with France in 1958. Goal differential screwing them over when they couldn't beat Zaire by more than Brazil. Them losing to Peru and tying freaking Iran in 1978. Goal differential screwing them over in 1982, losing out to the Soviets because they gave New Zealand 2 goals. 1986, they were kicked off the pitch by Uruguay. In 1990, they needed a tie against Brazil and almost had it. In 98, they had nothing. Scotland's going to be the big story. Is like, will they finally get into a knockout game? I know the World Cup's at 48 teams. Would they have done it when it's 32 teams? I'm not too sure. But the fact of the matter is that Scotland, this is their tournament to prove to everyone that they're not as crappy as we all think they are. And of course, you got to know the defending finalists, Argentina and France. How far can they go? Well, they can go far if Messi and Mbappe, respectively, can take them that far. CR7's around. There's some great Canadian talent, American talent, Mexican talent. Ochoa's in his 6th World Cup as a goalie, I think, or something like that. So you got to think about that. It's just something to think about. It's like, will this be a good World Cup? Will this be a bad World Cup? Will this be a World Cup that's memorable for all the right reasons or the wrong reasons? I hope it's all for all the right reasons. Qatar was a pretty good tournament in essence with the play on the field, but off the field just wasn't that great. That's probably what it's going to be. People are going to remember this World Cup for the sparkling play on the pitch, but off the pitch, you got all these problems. All 3 host countries are suffering through some kind of crisis and all that. But to me, this should be a good World Cup. And, if England gets to the semifinals or farther, it'll be a bonus for me. But I say it's quarterfinals or bust for me and England and all that. Canada getting to the quarterfinals will be a stretch. Mexico would be kind of a stretch. Americans, well, if they don't get stupid, I think they could make the quarterfinals, but it'll be close. But I say no. But that's just how I feel. I'm not going to be right 100% my predictions, obviously. There's no way. I've been wrong on many, many occasions for things. But anyway, thanks for watching. And remember, the Qatar World Cup 2026 stories thing is in the description. Have a happy World Cup. I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.